Hey everybody,
Good morning.
Nick Berard.
Good morning, Paul Bulanov.
Dominic Pettruzzelli. I forgot my name for a second. It's a long weekend.
So Paul, welcome back as our guest for this morning. So what did we read today, Paul?
Thank you, I'm honored. Well, actually skipped the beginning of the chapter, so why don't you go first and I'll step in what I read.
So we jumped into the steps to net $1 million, and what this goes over. There's so from the MREA is built around 4 models, and those 4 models between the earn $1 million and net $1 million, there are 16 common hurdles or obstacles that top agents come into because the transition from earn $1 million to net $1 million is seamless. Now the difference is there's 16 things here in terms of getting to mastery, 16 things that we can work through in terms of leads, listings, leverage, money, and yourself. And then they break them down into 16 categories. So that's what we read about this morning, just talking about implementing the models. So Dominic, what else do you want to add to that?
Well, I think they're kind of beat a dead horse with it, but it's for a reason. Is talking about lead generation and the importance of continuing lead generation and never letting it slack off. And you actually had some notes in your book from last time you read it of they had a paragraph or two talking about people going through the roller coaster in real estate where they don't have any business, so they lead generate a ton, then they get a lot of business and focus on administrative and focusing on that current business, and they forget lead generating, and then it kind of goes down again. So, and Nick has some notes of, this was me in June of 15. So he's, it's funny where every real estate agent has had that struggle, but I'd say the majority of what we read today was really focusing on keeping that lead generation machine going and the importance of leveraging it correctly.
Yeah.
Whether that's marketing based or prospecting based or a combination of both, and the difference between them.
So the first thing we talked about was leads, that you don't drop off your lead generation activity just because you have a bunch of leads that now you need to service. True MREAs, Millionaire Real Estate Agents, they find ways to leverage things out. So they have their assistants following up, they have their buyer specialists, they have their listing specialists. While they're still focused on lead generation, part of their team is still following up on that business. Yet when you're one agent or don't have a huge team around you,
That can get difficult.
That can get difficult. So it talks about continuing to focus on lead generation. Never let today's business get in the way of tomorrow's future business.
Yeah, and I think, again, the leverage key part of that is important, where if you are too busy to focus on lead generation, then you need to have somebody else that you're paying to focus on your current business so you can continue to lead generate.
So what's the next section? Tracking and converting leads.
Well, and obviously the importance of any lead generation business is to make sure you can track it, because if you can't track it, then you're not going to be able to tell what is and isn't working, because there's never just going to be one source of business that you're getting. So you need to make sure you understand the money going into it, the rate of return, the cost of return, and making sure you're following up on that very consistently. So if something is costing you too much or just simply not working, you can turn it off. You know, or easily make that decision to stop spending money there.
And be able to hold your team accountable. If you have a couple different or a team comprised of several individuals, how are you tracking them? How are you watching their results? And if you don't have a lead tracking and conversion system, whatever that is, well, then how do you know if your team is actually producing, or if somebody is just burning through leads and not converting them versus somebody that has a handful of leads that converts all of them? So, Paul, what about protecting your lead gen focus time?
That's important. I think we would all agree it's always being attacked. Things come up and you want to address this and that, but hugely important, like you said, you read about it, jealously protecting that lead generation time and just religiously protecting it, I would want to say, from 9 to 11, at least 2 hours. I think if you can be that agent that lead generates for 2 hours a day consistently, you're already going to be in the top 2-3% of all agents in the nation.
Perhaps top 1% if you actually focus and just have that time dedicated and do not let anyone...
We're all kind of laughing about it because we know how hard it is to actually maintain that level of lead generating.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then I like what stood out here. It says pay attention to the results, right? Because we could be doing lead generation, we can add all these names to the database, but not know where they came from, who's handling them, what's going on with them, are we following up with them, and we start burning leads.
So you have a good database, a good CRM.
Absolutely.
And working on what's tried and true. Very often and very frequently, agents, we get excited about the flavor of the month, what's new and hot right now in terms of lead generation strategies or marketing strategies. When we know what works and we have systems that are proven and works.
Stick with it.
Sometimes what works is boring and it's hard to continue to do so, but you have to do it. But yeah, you're right. Go to a trade show, go to anywhere, and there's a million cool, and some of them badass just products that are exciting. But if you're not being consistent on the tried and true methods, it's always going to suck. So
Do what works.
I think that kind of sums it up. And they transition into focusing on listings. I know we've talked about a lot in the videos, but we'll focus on that again even further next video.
So we just went through the 4 things, the first 4 of 16 hurdles that we're going to be going through.
Yep. So the next ones are going to be listing hurdles. Go. See you guys soon.
Done. Thanks.